How I made 27.6% returns in the stock market using these trendline trading strategies that I'll be sharing with you in this video. If you want to learn all of these trendline trading strategies, stick around in this video. Okay, let's dive right in. Before we learn about these trendline trading strategies and learn how to trade with trend lines, the first thing that we need to know is how to draw trend lines. I have a video over here explaining in depth on how to draw trend lines. I will provide you a quick recap of how to draw trend lines in this video so that you can better follow and understand the trendline trading strategies later on. The first thing that we need to do in order for us to draw trend lines is to first identify the trend of the market. There are two main trends that we want to look out for. The first one is an uptrend and the second one is a downtrend. After we have identified the trends of the market, the next step is to look to connect 3 or more price points. So in an uptrend, we look to connect 3 or more higher lows. And if prices are on a downtrend, we look to connect 3 or more lower highs. Those are the two steps for us to draw trend lines in the stock market. Let's take a look at some examples of how we can draw trend lines in the stock market. This is the price chart from Microsoft, and if you take a look at the price chart, you'll notice that Microsoft is on an uptrend. So in an uptrend, we want to look for the higher lows for the stock. So the higher lows will be, this is the first one, this will be the second one, and this one will be the third one. So after we have identified the 3 or more higher lows in an uptrend, we want to plot our line across connecting these 3 or more higher lows. This will be the first one, second one, and the third one. So we draw a line across connecting all the higher lows. And that is how we draw a trend line in an uptrend. The next one that we'll be taking a look at is a downtrend. So in a downtrend, we want to look for the lower highs. So we look to connect 3 or more lower highs in the downtrend. So the first lower high will be here, the second lower high will be here, and the third lower high will be here. So after we have identified 3 or more lower highs in the downtrend, we draw a line across connecting these lower highs. And that is how we get our trend line in the downtrend. Now that we know how to draw trend lines, let's take a look at the trendline trading strategies. So the first trendline trading strategy will be for an uptrend. So in an uptrend, we want to look to buy when prices are at or near the lower trend line. So what do I mean by this? Let's take a look at some examples. To use the trendline trading strategy, we first need to draw the trend line. And to draw the trend line, we first need to identify the trend of the market. So for this example, Microsoft is on an uptrend. That is the first step in drawing trend lines. The second step to drawing trend line is to identify the higher lows in an uptrend. So where are the higher lows? The higher lows are at this point here, at this point here, and at this point here. So that is 3 higher lows. Once we have 3 or more higher lows, we can plot a line connecting these 3 higher lows together. Now that we have our trend line in an uptrend, we can use our trendline trading strategy. So what is our trendline trading strategy? Our trendline trading strategy is to buy near or at the lower trend line in an uptrend. So where would we want to enter our position in Microsoft? We will want to enter our position in Microsoft at this candlestick over here. Why at this candlestick over here? Because this is the candlestick that forms after this candlestick. And this is the candlestick that forms close to the lower trend line. So after we got the confirmation that this candlestick forms near the lower trend line, we want to enter our position in the stock the next day. And the next day would be this candlestick over here. And that is why we want to enter our position in Microsoft at this candlestick over here. And if you take a look here, this candlestick is also a bullish pin bar. So a bullish pin bar is a bullish reversal signal. Prior to this bullish pin bar, you will notice that prices have been declining for the past trading sessions. So a bullish pin bar, which indicates a bullish reversal signal, indicates to us that prices are likely to rise at this point over here. And coupled with the lower trend line at this point, it indicates to us that prices are likely to rise in the future. This gives us a confirmation to enter our position in Microsoft. And that is why we want to enter at this candlestick over here. Let's take a look at another example. This is a screenshot of one of my trades where I use the trendline trading strategy that I'm sharing with you right now. I entered my position at this candlestick over here as indicated by this green button. And I entered my position at $18.10. The reason why I entered my position over here is because this bullish pin bar candlestick is close to the lower trend line. And I entered my position the next day, which is at this candlestick over here. After I bought, prices managed to rose up all the way to $23.10. And that is where I exit my position. And this was a trade where I made 27.6% returns in the stock market. So how do I arrive at 27.6%? I take $23.10, which is the price where I exit, minus the entry price. So that is the amount of returns that I made, divided by the initial investment of $18.10. And that is how I arrive at 27.6% returns. That's the first trendline trading strategy. And the strategy is to enter our positions when prices are close to or at the lower trend line when prices are on an uptrend. Now let's take a look at the second trendline trading strategy. The second trendline trading strategy is when prices are on a downtrend. We want to look to short when prices are at or near the upper trend line. So what do I mean by this? Let's take a look at some examples. For this price chart, you'll notice that prices are on a downtrend. So we first want to identify the lower highs. So the lower highs are at this point over here, here, and here. So after we have identified 3 or more lower highs, we want to plot a line across. So we'll plot a line across connecting these 3 lower highs. So we draw a line across and we get our trend line in a downtrend. After we have drawn our trend line in a downtrend, we can look to enter our short positions in the market. Where will we want to enter our short positions for this stock over here? We want to enter our short position at this point over here. So why at this point over here? Because this point over here is close to the upper trend line. And if we would have entered our short positions over here, we would have managed to catch some profits as prices decline over here. Let's take a look at another example. Similarly, for United Airlines, the stock is on a downtrend. So we look to identify the lower highs first. So the lower highs are this point over here, and this point over here. So after we have 3 or more lower highs in a downtrend, we want to plot a line connecting these 3 or more lower highs. So we draw a line across connecting all these lower highs together, and we'll get our trend line. Then after we have our trend line in the downtrend, we can look to add our short positions when prices are close to this trend line. So where are some of the areas that we can add our short positions in? The first area would be at this point over here, right? Because at this point over here, prices are close to the upper trend line. And we can look to enter our short positions right here. And if we have entered our short positions over here, we would have managed to catch the trend down and make a decent amount of profits. So that is the first area where we can add our short positions into. Let's say if we have missed this opportunity over here, where's the next area that we can look to add our short positions in? The next area that we can look to add our short positions in is at this point over here, because this is another point which is close to the upper trend line. And if we have entered our short positions over here, we would have also managed to make some profits as prices decline. And that is another area we can look to potentially add our short positions into. That is the second trendline trading strategy for a downtrend. The third trendline trading strategy is to trade the trendline breakout. So we look to add our positions when prices break out of the trend line. On the left side for this price chart over here, you'll notice that prices are on a downtrend because prices are making lower highs and lower lows. So when prices are making lower highs and lower lows, we say prices are on a downtrend. And when prices are on a downtrend, when we want to draw our trend line, we look to connect the lower highs. In this case, I draw a trend line connecting the lower highs together. But over here, you'll notice that prices stop declining and instead start to rise up. And if prices break above the upper trend line in a downtrend, it indicates to us a bullish momentum. And we can look to add our positions when prices break above the upper trend line in a downtrend. You can enter your position at this candlestick over here or this candlestick over here. For me personally, I prefer to enter my position at this candlestick over here. Why do I prefer to enter my position at this candlestick over here? The reason why I prefer to enter my position at this candlestick over here is because I want to see a clean breakout from the trend line. So what do I mean by clean breakout? So a clean breakout would mean that prices open above the trend line and closes above the trend line. So that is a clean breakout. But for this candlestick over here, you'll notice that it's not a clean breakout. Because this candlestick over here, even though prices close above the trend line, but it opened below the trend line. So that is not a clean breakout. I prefer to see prices opening above the trend line and closing above the trend line. So I'll prefer to enter at this candlestick over here. But again, that is just my own preference. You may choose to enter at this candlestick over here, which is also fine. Okay, let's take a look at one more example. This is for Amazon. And if you take a look at the left side of the price chart, you'll notice that prices have been declining. When prices are declining, we look to connect the lower highs. So this is the first lower high, this is the second lower high, and this is the third lower high. So once we have 3 or more lower highs, we can plot our line across to connect the lower highs to form our trend line. So for this price chart over here, where would you want to enter your position in the stock? Prices decline for quite a fair bit before it starts to reverse and start rising. At this point over here, prices managed to close just above the trend line. And for this one, it also closed above the trend line. So we can look to add our positions around here. So where would you want to enter your positions? For me, like I mentioned earlier on, I prefer to see a clean breakout. So this candlestick is the one that provides the clean breakout because it opens above the trend line and close above the trend line. Once I have this confirmation candle which has a clean breakout, I will look to enter my position over here. That is where I look to enter my position in the market. And then if we entered here, we would have ride the trend up and make significant amount of profits. That is the third trendline trading strategy. And the strategy is to trade the trendline breakout. To recap, these are the trendline trading strategies. The first trendline trading strategy is for an uptrend. And we look to enter our positions when prices are close to or at the lower trend line in an uptrend. The second trendline trading strategy is for a downtrend. So we look to enter our short positions when prices are close to or at the upper trend line in a downtrend. And finally, the third trendline trading strategy is to trade the trendline breakout. We look to enter our positions when prices break above an upper trend line in a downtrend and when the candlestick forms a clean breakout. If you guys have learned something from this video, help me like this video because it will really help the channel grow and allow me to continue making more videos such as this. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on these videos on investing, trading, and the stock market. I'll see you in those other videos to your financial success.